On the surface, he was a harmless janitor at the police station, but behind closed doors, he was a citywide wanted serial killer. Because of his mother, he only targeted women. That morning, he arrived at his target's home, calmly opened the refrigerator, and took out a bottle of beer, moving with such familiarity it seemed like his own place. Having done his homework, he knew the woman was showering at that moment. After consuming the food, he headed upstairs, cradling her cat as he patiently waited for her to finish.
Who the fuck are you?
After committing the crime, he meticulously cleaned up his traces, even plucking a rose before leaving. He had no vehicle, relying solely on walking or buses. This not only minimized risk, but also allowed him to scout potential targets. Soon after, he arrived at his mother's house for dinner, casually tossing the empty beer bottle into the trash along with a set of car keys. His mother slapped him the moment she saw him, furious that he hadn't returned her calls and had arrived late. Yet he remained expressionless as he explained himself, clearly accustomed to such treatment. Meanwhile, police arrived at the crime scene. The woman lay naked on the bed, her eyes wide open in death, bound to the frame with an unfinished apple stuffed into her mouth. Such a conspicuous method alerted the officers that the criminal known as the sculptor had struck again. Then an officer reported another body found in the train car outside. Evidently, the elderly man had been the first victim. The killer had then driven his car to this location to commit another murder. The wounds revealed the perpetrator had now resorted to using a gun. Meanwhile, Joe was having dinner with his mother. The strict old woman had deliberately frozen his dinner in the refrigerator because he had been late that morning. Joe ate it expressionlessly. Long accustomed to her behavior, because his mother enjoyed jigsaw puzzles, he later slipped a piece into his pocket. This touching display of filial devotion unfolded as the television reported today's murder case. Listening to the host's eloquent commentary, he felt immense pride, for he had killed far more than these victims, though the police could never find the evidence. The next day, he took the bus to work as usual, scanning the crowd for his next target along the way. Arriving at the police station, he changed into his uniform in the supply closet before nonchalantly pushing open the conference room door. No one even glanced up at him. The nature of his job and his social standing rendered him nearly invisible. Carl, the inspector in charge of the case, stated that the elderly woman had visited her husband's grave at the cemetery on the day of her death. The killer had clearly abducted her during that time. However, they hadn't found her car keys at the scene, and the distinctive keyring had become the focus of the police investigation. Hearing this, Joe nearly laughed out loud. Unless divine intervention occurred, finding the abandoned keys on the other side of the city was impossible. Realizing the police had no significant breakthrough, he casually exited the conference room. The next day, he arrived for work as usual, only to find the conference room crowded again. Clearly, something significant had happened. Otherwise, such frequent meetings wouldn't occur. He immediately slipped into the storage room, propping the door shut with his cart, then eavesdropped through the ventilation shaft. Another victim had been found today, bound to a bed with a green apple beside them. Police suspected the carver was at work again, but Joe recognized an imitator. Just then, Sally, another janitor, pushed open the door, forcing Joe to stop eavesdropping